20 Facts Timon and Pumbaa.
Number 1. It's kind of wild to think about, but before the studio even greenlit a TV series, Timon and Pumbaa were already massive surprise standouts in The Lion King. They were literally just dropped into the movie to give us a breather, some much-needed comic relief in the middle of a super heavy story arc. But their popularity absolutely skyrocketed, and it didn't take long to realize these two legends had enough main character energy to carry their own adventures. Number 2. Giving them a spinoff actually caused a huge headache for the writers. In the original movie, their whole existence is tied directly to Simba's journey, right? So the challenge was completely untangling them from that main storyline. The writers basically had to build an entirely new world from scratch where these guys could go on endless adventures, and it still had to hit hard without relying on all that Pride Rock drama. Number 3, the fix for that story problem? Honestly, simple but genius. Instead of having them chill in one spot, Timon and Pumbaa just became full-on wandering travelers. I mean, it makes total sense. If your entire life philosophy is Hakuna Matata, you're not tying yourself down. That nomad lifestyle naturally turned literally any destination they stumbled into a brand new story.
Number 4. And they really took that wandering thing to the next level, expanding way past the African savanna. We're talking insane global travels here. These guys were hitting up deserts, jungles, mountains, and even full-blown cities across different countries. Keeping them constantly on the move gave the writers a massive sandbox to play in, letting them cook up fresh conflicts every episode without the formula ever feeling stale.
Number 5. The whole vibe of the comedy totally shifted too. The Lion King was a masterclass at balancing humor with some serious tear-jerking tragedy. But the TV show, it threw all that out the window and just went all in on fast-paced, unhinged slapstick. The main storytelling language basically became crazy chase sequences, completely over-the-top accidents, and some top-tier visual gags. Number 6. Behind the scenes, the voice acting situation was pretty interesting. Nathan Lane actually only came back to voice Timon for a handful of episodes because his Broadway schedule was way too packed for a long-term commitment. So, Quentin Flynn ended up stepping in and becoming the main TV voice for Timon. But Ernie Sabella, that guy is goated. He stayed on and voiced Pumbaa for the entire run of the series. Number 7, even with the recast, the studio made sure their core personalities stayed completely intact. Timon was still that frantic, clever, impatient guy with way too much ambition, and Pumbaa remained the ultimate loyal, optimistic, big-hearted bro. Because their personalities are such total opposites, the comedy always felt super natural and character-driven, rather than just forcing random jokes for the sake of it. Number 8. Okay, this is a super fun detail. A lot of the episode titles were literally just built around country name puns. The writers would brainstorm the most unusual or goofy places for the duo to visit, make a pun out of the country name, and then build the episode around what kind of weird animal encounters they could have there. It was basically a recipe for nonstop visual comedy. Number 9. If you haven't looked back at the show recently, it was actually way bigger than most people remember. The sheer scale of it is kind of crazy. It ran for 3 seasons, pumping out a massive 85 episodes, which broke down into 171 individual animated segments. That easily made it one of the absolute biggest spin-offs the animation department produced in the whole decade. Number 10. By the time the series wrapped, it had basically proven something huge about storytelling in the animation world. It showed that side characters designed just to prop up the main hero can actually become absolute legends on their own. Their success proved that you don't always need an epic, world-ending plot. Sometimes just the sheer vibes of a really strong friendship are enough to carry an entire show. Number 11. Honestly, the show rarely ever leaned on Simba to keep things interesting. Stepping completely out of his shadow was a massive flex, and trusting Timon and Pumbaa's chaotic dynamic to drive every single adventure was 100% the right call. It allowed them to forge their very own totally unique identity in the animation scene, completely separate from their movie origins. Number 12. If you think about it, their ultimate superpower wasn't having galaxy brain intelligence or being super OP in a fight. It was just their absolute ride-or-die confidence in each other. They'd mess up, they'd get into huge arguments, but at the end of the day, they almost always swallowed their pride and chose loyalty. That's a pretty top-tier friendship right there. Number 13. Hakuna Matata is obviously a massive pop culture catchphrase, and it often sounds like just a joke. But in the context of the show, it actually functioned as a genuine problem-solving mindset. It was a way for them to take an L without letting it ruin their whole future. Time and time again, the series showed that pure optimism could solve crazy situations way better than just rage quitting or getting frustrated. Number 14. The series also had this really awesome, subtle habit of challenging first impressions. Timon and Pumbaa would run into some totally strange, intimidating creatures, but once the misunderstandings were cleared up, they'd end up becoming homies. It's a pretty solid low-key lesson that fear usually just fades away once you actually take a second to learn the truth about someone.
Number 15. Because almost every episode was a standalone adventure, you could literally jump in anywhere. You didn't have to worry about missing some deep lore or complex story arc. That episodic format made it incredibly perfect to just air on TV all over the world. An entire generation of kids ended up discovering and binge-watching Timon and Pumbaa completely out of order, just catching whatever happened to be on TV that day.
Number 16. The fact that this show was such a massive hit actually low-key shaped the studio's entire television strategy in the 90s. It was the proof they needed that you could take a blockbuster movie and expand its world into a long-running TV franchise. Because Timon and Pumbaa crushed it so hard, it gave them the green light to invest heavily in a whole wave of other animated spin-offs.
Number 17. These guys basically secured their spot as two of the most recognizable comedy characters in animation history. We're talking an explosive legacy that includes popping up in later films, massive stage productions, video games, endless merch, and modern adaptations. Their popularity went so hard that it completely outlasted the original television series by literal decades.
Number 18. If you're wondering why this duo has endured for so long, it all comes down to balance. Timon is always the one with the relentless drive, constantly pushing them headfirst into the next wild adventure. But Pumbaa is the chill, grounding force who quietly reminds him of what actually matters. Their totally opposite personalities inevitably cause conflict, but the strength of their friendship is what always brings the balance back.
Number 19. Looking back at it now, it's pretty wild to think about. It just goes to show that some of the most unforgettable characters don't always start out as the main event. Two random supporting animals literally grew into massive stars, with an entire world built just for them. It proves that if the audience connects with a character, it can completely reshape the future of an entire franchise.
Number 20. At the end of the day, this show really wasn't just about the slapstick comedy or the random wandering adventures. It was ultimately about choosing friendship over fear, keeping your optimism up when things get rough, and picking laughter over despair. That message still hits today because no matter what generation you're in, the challenges you face are always just a little easier to carry when you've got a true friend beside you. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this deep dive, definitely drop a like, share this with your friends who need a nostalgia trip, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next upload. Catch you later.